Okay, everybody, we're gonna put some Roadmaster Active Suspension on the 2018 F150. As you can see, it improves handling, control, and safety, and adds critical strength to the leaf springs. Will not harden the ride like helper springs or airbag suspension. Eliminates axle wrap and wheel hop. Improves fuel mileage and reduces the tire wear when loaded. Blah blah blah. So yep, I tow a 24-foot travel trailer, and with that on there, it's about 4,000 pounds. With that on there and a full bed, it sags quite a bit. And I also have an ATV trailer that hauls 4 full-size ATVs, and that also makes it sag a bunch. Truck is a 2018 F150 with the 2.7 ecoboost, and I'm going to measure the fender gap before and after and show you loaded and unloaded and see what happens. Here's the kit. Comes with the springs, instructions, stickers, all that good stuff. So we'll go on out and measure the truck now. All right, 2018 2.7 ecoboost F150. So we have a 2.5 inch level on the front, a BDS level, and in the rear it's completely stock. 35 by 12.5 Nitto Terra Grappler G2 tires, which are pretty amazing. Love them. So yesterday I measured the gap in the fenders with my Ridgelander tonneau cover on. Now I'm completely empty. All right, measure the rear here. And we're about 41. Yesterday, I think it was 40 and a quarter. I don't know, I have to double check the video. We'll see. And we'll do the front. .40 and 5/8. Sorry, it's got an aluminum Ridgelander tonneau cover with 4 bike racks, so the bed's empty. So we'll go measure the gaps and see what the difference is. All right, the rear gap's about 40 and a quarter, and we'll measure the front now. Front gap is about 40 and 7/8. Always hook up your ramps. Too many fail videos pertaining to dummies that don't. Loaded. Full-size Sportsman 850 SP is in the bed. It definitely looks like it's squatting, obviously. I'm standing on a hill right here, so it's not a good angle to get level. Like, let's try level maybe. But now we'll measure the gaps and see the difference. This is without the active suspension. Right now it is at 38 and 1/8. Before it was at 41, I think. And the front is basically 41. So we will unload it, put the active suspension, and then we'll load it back up. See the difference. It's my guardian angel. All right, jack the truck up. Chock the front wheels, put the jack stands under the frame so the axle is completely hanging down as low as it'll go. Jack's just under there, just holding it a little bit, but it's not, it doesn't have any pressure on it. The suspension Roadmaster Active Suspension comes fully assembled. You want to spin these guys out to the middle at least for future adjustments. Do it now while it's easy to do. This piece hooks around the back of the leaf spring. Leaf spring above the top. Make sure it's centered. And then this hangs down here. Then you take this sleeve out and bolt, nut, bolt, sleeve. And now see, we don't have enough room to fit in here, so we have to adjust the length. Hold the shaft there and spin it away from you, which adjusts the length. Keep on going until you have enough room to stick that bottom bolt back in there. Very easy, by hand. Slide it down. Looks like we'll fit. So this side here for me.
Why is Luke in the truck?
Not sure. Sorry, we got little kids running around the place. We got 10mm in here. Are you in the truck right now?
Luke is.
Tell him to get out of the truck. It's on jack stands.
Because Daddy said.
This is what I have to deal with. Do not go in the truck when it's on jack stands, ever, okay? Got it? I guess I needed to say that. Maybe we'll tell the viewers on YouTube, tell your kids not to go in the truck when it's jacked up, even though you told them 14 times already. I try to do these videos silently, like professionally, but it's pretty impossible with these two knuckleheads.
Who are you talking to?
The people on YouTube? Yeah. So, this side, okay, scram. This side is 10mm, and this is a 19mm wrench. All right, stick the sleeve, stick the bolt. Still not long enough. Adjust it out. All right, fits through. Lock nut on there. Some people put blue Loctite on there. It doesn't call for it. It's a nylon lock washer, or a lock nut, so should be fine. Sorry if the angles aren't perfect. The GoPro's on my head right now. I wish that I had actually, we're gonna get a socket for that. 22. Pause for now, come back with the socket. Back with the 19mm socket, much faster. Alright, and that you snug down pretty good. I mean, it's got the sleeve in there, so you can't over tighten it or whatever. So snugging this down. Now you tighten her up. Make sure that that sits flush up against the leaf spring. Take this off real quick. So you want it to fit flush like that up against the base. Okay, once you see that that's flush up against there, spin this towards you until it gets snug. You can't do it anymore. Then you get a 12mm on the end, and it says a 22 up top here. Actually, loosening it up again, because one thing you have to make sure is that up here, that collar up here, is right in the center. So make sure that's in the center. Snugging her down. This says 22, but I didn't have a 22. I have 7/8, which works, and a 12. And then start tightening it down. And you keep on tightening to start spacing out this spring so you can fit either the 1 millimeter spacer through the spring, or the 2 millimeter spacer. I'm gonna go with the 1 for now. 1 says 25%, and the 2 millimeter is 40%. So I don't haul too many super heavy things, so we'll just do the 1 millimeter for now, see how it works, and then we could always make it tighter if we need to. So let's tighten her up. And they say to do it so it goes through the majority of them. It's going through nicely, sticking a little bit. Obviously not the end ones. So that seems about right. And that's pretty much it, other than taking these guys and locking them down. Locking them down. That guy and this guy. And that should be it. All right, one side done. Do the exact same thing on the other side. That's it. Roadmaster Active Suspension is installed. Nothing in the back. So we'll measure the gap. I'll put all these numbers at the end too so we can compare. It is at 41.5. And the front is 40 5/8. Sorry, it's windy out here today. I have the Ridgelander aluminum tonneau cover on with 4 Yakima bike racks. The rear is about 40 7/8. And we'll do the front. And the front is 40 3/4. Roadmaster Active Suspension is on. Quad's about 800 pounds, give or take. It's got a half a tank of gas. I think dry weight's like 789 or something. I don't know, don't quote me on that, but right around that mark. We'll measure it now. Rear is 39 1/8. Front is 41. So it's actually sagging more than I thought it would. Again, I have the 1 millimeter setting on there right now, so maybe we'll crank it up to 2 millimeters. We'll see. There she is. See how it drives. Okay, here are the numbers. Suspension, the Roadmaster suspension installed, the Roadmaster Active Suspension not installed. So the left side is not installed. So with the tonneau cover, the gap in the rear fender was 40 1/4. the front was 40 7/8 with the active suspension installed. The rear was 40 7/8 and the front was 40 3/4. So the rear was 5/8 higher and the front was an eighth lower, so it kind of leveled it out a little bit better. Then the no tonneau, completely empty. The rear was 41 inches and the front was 40 5/8. That's without the active suspension. With the active suspension, the rear was 41 1/2 and the front was 40 5/8. So the front, or the rear, sorry, was 1/2 inch higher. The front had no change. Now on to with the Sportsman loaded. No active suspension, it was 38 1/8 in the front and 41 inches in the rear. And with the active suspension installed, the rear was 39 1/8 and the front was 41 inches. So no change on the front. The rear was an inch higher than it was before, so like an inch less sag. I haven't towed anything yet, but hauling the ATV on a 2-hour drive was a lot nicer. There was way less body roll around corners. Definitely worth it. And if I want to, I could obviously crank that sucker up a little bit and take it to the 2mm setting and get 40% more. Yeah, so highly recommend it. Even driving without stuff in the bed, it just seems a little more tight, you know. So Roadmaster Active Suspension, I like it. We'll see how it works when I tow the camper and we have a full load. I'll post another video.